Hi everyone, welcome to the first episode of Intento Vlog. My name is Yuka Nakasone, Globalization and Localization Director at Intento, AI curation company, Berkeley, California. For this first episode, we invited Talia Baruch, who is a go-to expert in terms of global product strategies. She also founded an organization called GlobalSaké. GlobalSaké will be launching their first online event this Thursday. Our CEO, Konstantin Savenkov, will be speaking in this event. The theme is how to handle AI biases when we use machine translation. We haven't presented this topic yet, so please come. See you all there. Here is my conversation with Talia. Enjoy.
Sure. Hi, Yuka. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I've been in the industry here at Silicon Valley for 20 years. Started off in internationalization and localization management, coming very much from the content side of the house, adapting contents to international markets, and then pivoted about 10 years ago to product and growth disciplines, adapting the product experience and building new products that are geo-fit. So my focus has always been sort of really focused on the international segments, fully understanding who it is we're optimizing for, understanding the market, the lay of the land, the market needs, and then creating the right experiences for really to maximize global growth. In my approach, global growth is not an umbrella, right? It's really incrementals of geo-fit adoption, building the right experiences, understanding the gaps, the local gaps. A lot of times we need to reposition the value proposition. We are answering different problems sometimes, and the invoked emotion is different, the expected behavior is different. And then really doing that to our priority core markets on a global scale, right? Replicating that model, but adapting it to different regional and cultural factors. Right? So I've led international product and growth at LinkedIn, at SurveyMonkey, before that at Google, Maps and Earth. And then 3 years ago in 2017, I pivoted to education. I still consult, I still work with a lot of different size companies and help them build the right experiences and apply growth, international growth optimizations. But I'm doing a lot of teaching, and which I really love.
Great. And would you like to talk about your organization, GlobalSaké?
Sure. So I co-founded it with John Hayato, and we again co-founded it 3 years ago, also in 2017. So I was in this sort of junction in my career where I've realized that most companies, at least US-based companies, really struggle with international growth because the way I saw the blind side was in, the way they saw adopting new markets is simply language support. And we at LinkedIn, we were able to quantify that if language support is important, it's critical, but it's not enough. We were able to measure that in a low English proficiency new market, you can see up to a 2x growth after language launch within the first year, but then growth flattens after that, right? So we know that you have to do so much more on the product side, on the marketing side, on the ops side, on the strategic partnership side. It's an extremely cross-functional effort, but that is beyond language support. It's the next thing up, right? And that is what companies today still very much struggle with, right? Because they don't quite understand what does that mean. And that niche is really sits with, it's not just localization. Localization, in the broader sense, localization is about that. But the way it is implemented in the industry today is, it is seen in the industry as a production team. Embedded, sort of buried somewhere in the org structure, not necessarily having the visibility to the corporate core objectives, not necessarily having the capability to collaborate cross-functionally and effectively drive horizontal efforts right across the organization. So, and so really this is what, I sought to kind of into education, sort of help educate the next generation of leaders to really think in terms of international orientation so that they're able to think in terms of, what strategic problems, leveraging diverse perspectives across functions, being able to build in the right business models, the right strategies in the org structure, and the right approaches, right, to truly sort of open your antennas and really be recipients of ideas, of thoughts, of perspectives across functions, across cultures, across regional areas, to synergize, right? Synergize the right, all of those complementing skill sets and huge knowledge, so that they're able to truly innovate the right fit solutions.
Yeah,
and I think we're doing at GlobalSaké.
As far as I noticed, you have done it in a brilliant way, because by introducing some Japanese taste with sake, blah, 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 you created a community which is not just globalization people, but other department people coming. Is this correct?
Exactly. So the goal of GlobalSaké is really, we're a nonprofit, and the goal is to simply have people come together across cultures, functions, cultures and countries, right? And across different disciplines, different skill sets, right? Because when you we live today, more than at any time, I think in the past, we live in a very siloed world, right? People have access to a lot of information, but it's very sharded and siloed. People are very fragmented, and that creates polarization. We see that today all over the world. And the goal, sort of how we can move forward from that is, and this is how companies also are structured, right? They are structured in siloed vertical functional teams because it is easier to manage, but it also is not a very efficient structure to effectively drive horizontal efforts and to truly innovate creative problem solving. People, if functions are not talking to each other across teams and are not aligning their OKRs, and are not, if there's no company culture and facilitation of org structure and business model, then it is not, even if you have people in the company that are very motivated and proactive, they cannot effectively drive those horizontal efforts and fully create, co-create effective solutions. So this is what we try to do in our events, is to really bring people of all aspects. I mean, they're all people who drive international, but and global growth, but in very different functions. Their world, their mindset, their mentality, their agenda, their goals are different. I mean, they're all, shared purpose is global growth, but coming to it from different functional agendas and KPIs, right? And then we want them to talk to each other. So it's reflected in the content and the speakers we bring, but also very much in the audience.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. And how about the theme of this event for this Thursday? What are you going to focus on?
Right. So each event is a different angle related to global growth. So this upcoming event is on October 22nd. It's a full day. It starts from 9 a.m. Pacific time all the way to 8 p.m. Pacific time with a little break in the middle. This is our first virtual event. So it's actually a great opportunity to finally loop in all of our truly global audiences. So the mornings, we have the Americas plus Europe. In the evening time, Pacific, we can bring in our partners in Asia. We have a big group of partners from Singapore, but then we have all of our Southeast Asia and Asia time zone joining in the evening sessions. All of our events they always start with sake tasting. That just, again, to bring people together. It's not, I mean, it does obviously come from Japan, but the goal, it's more sort of a metaphor to, we're taking a local product and making it, adapting it, making it celebrated by other cultures and other mindsets. And we're still going to do that, even though it's a virtual event. So I suppose if you still sign up today, Monday, you can still probably get your sake on time for our virtual sake tasting. We're sending with GlobalSaké partner who are adapting the sake flavors to producing the traditional sake with adapted sake flavors, and shipping 3 sampler bottles to you so that you can be a part of the collective happy hour.
Great, sounds great. But I guess I can't get it, right? I mean, I'm in Europe, so this shipping is for US people only,
That is
maybe?
true. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that.
No, it's
But
okay.
that is a little sort of technical limitation that we have, that we can not ship it outside of the US, unfortunately. And we're really, really hopeful that our next event can be again in person. From how you remember our last event, we always, it's a lot about the experience, it's not just the content.
Yeah.
We very carefully curate to bring really incredible thought leaders from around the world. We are able to do that even more efficiently now that it's virtual. We literally have people coming in from Tel Aviv and all over the world. But yeah, we can't ship the sake. The focus of this particular event is future of function. So how can companies really respond rapidly to radically changing realities that we experience today, in order to not just stay alive but thrive, right? In order to maintain their business and pivot or reposition the value proposition effectively for their target audiences, especially within regards to new markets expansion.
Yeah, because the world has been changing so much and so fast, and especially this year. So it's we really have to think about future, because we always said like future is now, but this year particularly I really felt future is now. So I think you picked a very good topic, and thank you very much for inviting Intento to talk in the event. I guess you talked to Konstantin, the CEO, and the rest of the team around the presentation of Intento. I'd like to hear about your impression. What do you think about Intento, if you have anything to say?
Yeah, so we're really psyched to have Intento as a partner, and providing the solutions, showing us some case studies. You will have some case studies from different vertical industries that you've been working with, and that would be, the goal is really to provide applied insights that people can then, not just as an interesting anecdote, but we can really apply that to their own businesses. In your case, for Intento, the people say that the global pandemic has accelerated mixed reality, AI, VR, AR technologies by a decade, right? We definitely are using, we are still with primal brains, right? Where we're very organic humans with very complex emotions. We are using sci-fi technologies that are way ahead of our psyche, right? And that is the challenge of designing the right experiences for humans. We're not designing experiences for robots. And so I'm really curious to hear. I'm very much looking forward to Intento's session, walking us through how can you guys help companies optimize through AI-enhanced software, optimize not just for machine translation, but really for processes, right? To make them more agile, more efficient, more controlled, but at the same time more flexible.
Very much for coming today. And again, the event is Thursday, October 22nd. The ticket is still available. And if you order now, still you can get some sake as well. So please.
And you can just visit, I don't know if you're going to have it in the bottom, but you can just visit globalsakegrowth.com. And there you can see we've actually added so many more sessions. So it's really across many different top areas, verticals, all of them around innovative new frontier technologies and how to solve very specific problems, global problems, right? With regards to international growth. So take a look at the speakers, the sessions, and from there you can also register.
Yep. So thank you very much for everybody to listening to this, and we'll see you then in the event. Thank you.
Thank you.